AITA for telling my mom I resent her holding me back because of my sister. I, F17, was one of those gifted kids when I was younger. I taught myself how to read when I was 2.5 and how to add when I was 3, and by the time I went to kindergarten I was reading chapter books and doing second grade math. My sister, 18, has ADHD and dyslexia and was always a little behind in reading and math. Now to the story. My district makes us do placement tests whenever we start kindergarten, and right before the school year started, the principal and my kindergarten teacher called my parents into a meeting. They basically said I was very advanced for my age and wanted me to skip kindergarten and go to first grade. My mom refused because she thought my sister's feelings would be hurt because I skipped a grade and she didn't. They said okay and suggested I be put in the gifted program and go to a different elementary school in the district, like 2 miles away, that has advanced classes and extra support for gifted kids. She rejected that too because she also thought it would hurt my sister's feelings. They also suggested a private elementary school 10 minutes away for gifted kids. She said no for the same reason as before. They told my mom that they wouldn't be able to give me much support if I'm at a regular kindergarten class at their school, and she said okay. My dad wanted me to go to the private school and argued with my mom about it for weeks. He eventually gave up when she threatened to divorce him for not considering my older sister. Fast forward to 8th grade. I'm still very advanced and my dad comes home from work with pamphlets for this special high school for gifted kids. My mom shut it down immediately. They argued more and he gave in again when the threat of divorce came up again. Now, my parents actually are getting divorced and I chose to live with my dad full time. My mom got mad and asked what she did to have me leave her too, and I give a whole list of reasons, mostly her favoring my sister, and ended it with her holding me back in school to protect my sister's feelings. She argued that she did what was best for both of us and I'm an asshole for holding that against her because now I have great friends at my school. I left and went to pack my stuff and my mom and I aren't speaking, so I wanted to know if I was an asshole. NTA. They held you back because they didn't want to hurt your sister's feelings. I guess your education and feelings don't count. Your mom truly did try to stifle you, and I hope that you don't have to experience that now. NTA. Jesus, your mom needs to grow the fuck up and your dad is kind of a coward for not doing this earlier. Removed. She argued that she did what was best for both of us. Bovine excrement. If the only option was skip a grade or not, she might have a bit of an argument. But you could have gone to 2 different schools for advanced children. Either one of those would have been best for you, and you likely would have made just as many great friends there as regular public school. NTA. NTA. You don't hobble a child who is ready to stretch their legs and really run because another child isn't. And the argument that you have made great friends so it was all for the best is pathetic, like you otherwise would have been a pariah if you had been in a more challenging academic program. And school is just socializing. The only thing you may want to consider is that your choice reflects not resentment about the past but that your mother would not protect your interests in the future. Hope you get into a great university and never look back. Ironically, my best friend is a girl a month younger than me in my sister's grade that skipped kindergarten. AITA for telling my mom I'm not an aunt and not going to pretend just for her. My mom married my stepdad when I, 20F, was 7 and my stepsister was 6. You might think after all these years we would be good, but nope. She was such a fucking nightmare to deal with, and it only got worse after her dad took custody of her from her mom when she was 13. It wasn't just me either. She smashed up the collection of photos my mom had of my uncle/her brother who died when they were kids, and she made sure those photos could not be salvaged. She broke something valuable that her grandma, my stepdad's mom, owned. As for me, she would spit in my pillow so I couldn't sleep on it. She would tell me to give her stuff, so when I got a phone she demanded I give it to her. If I was eating a chocolate bar she demanded it. Her dad at one point had her in therapy x3 a week and he would punish the hell out of her for stuff like spitting and breaking shit. One time when we were 15 and 16 we both got in trouble because she tore the photo I had in my bedroom of my dad and grandparents and she smudged food blood stains all over the fragments left and I lost it. I told her she fucking sucked and I was so glad she was not my real sister because I would never want to be family with someone as unlovable as her. That I never disliked anyone as much and my life was so much better without her in it. After that things were very different. My mom said she understood that I was upset but that I should never say such cruel things to someone. She encouraged me to apologize and say I hadn't meant those things. But I had. My stepdad and I had gotten along okay up to that point, but me saying his daughter was unlovable and that I wished she had never been in my life was a step too much for him, which I get. We pretty much coexisted after that. Had therapy and all that. But I think my mom was the only one truly all in at first, and then my stepdad eventually. But my stepsister and I were not interested in repairing things. For me they were just never good to begin with. Now I live with some friends and live pretty far from my mom. My stepsister recently moved back in with them after she had a baby and my mom has tried to convince me that this is the perfect time to put the past in the past and move forward. She has brought up my being an aunt many times before, and I know she's telling the truth that my stepsister is ready for it too, because she sent me a video via my mom's FB saying that she had forgiven me for what I said and was ready to move forward. I got pretty tired of my mom trying and calling me an aunt, so I told her I wasn't an aunt. I told her I have no siblings and so I can't be an aunt. She told me it was childish to say that when everybody else is ready to move on from all that. I told her I was not. That I had never grown to care about stepsister and did not want to be in her life, or to have her in mine, and her child was an extension of that. She's mad at me for saying that and my stubborn stance. AITA? NTA, one day you might feel ready to let bygones be bygones, but until that time they can't force you. Your feelings are valid. I also don't like that stepsister forgave you but didn't own her SHT and apologize. She sounds like the same narcissistic who hurt you on the reg growing up. Wait, what? She had forgiven you? She bullied you for years and she had the audacity to say that. Sorry, but she needs to apologize for everything she did and acknowledge her fault in this. You are so NTA. NTA at all. Your stepfather and stepsister were your mother's choice, not yours. Your mother has tried for 13 years to get you to play happy family with a stepsister who was an abusive bully and you understandably refused. I'm sure your mother and stepfamily would like to move on, but no one has offered you an apology, which all them owe you. You do what you feel is best for you. Good luck! Exclamation mark. Edit, wording. NTA, she has forgiven you, not apologized. AITA for telling my cousin what she was eating. This happened in 2019, but has recently been brought back up, hence my post. Necessary background: I'm half French, dad, half American, mom. When I was 11, my family moved from the States to France. I lived there during the school year and spent summers back in the US. Growing up, I had a cousin, Jane, who I was never very close with. When I moved to France, she was outwardly jealous at first, but then started using it to brag to her friends, because it meant she got to visit us there pretty often. We don't live in Paris, but Jane was always telling people about how she went to Paris all the time. When we got older, the bragging stopped because they didn't visit as much, and she became hostile towards me. I cut contact and figured that was the end of it. In autumn 2019, I got married in France and invited all my American family. Husband and I live near a small castle that's rented out as a gîte, kind of like a holiday home. So we paid for my family to stay there since there isn't enough room at the house. Jane was invited because I didn't think it would be right to exclude her when her siblings were coming. In France in the autumn, there is a huge culture of going mushrooming. We went as a family and everyone loved it except Jane. She spent the whole time complaining and making nasty comments. When my Mill and I were making dinner for everyone using the mushrooms we had picked, Jane came into the kitchen, said, "Wow, I didn't realize you were so poor that you had to eat stuff you picked off the forest floor," and then walked out. I was so ashamed but also so thankful my meal doesn't speak a lot of English. She ate around the mushrooms at dinner and kept making disgusted faces. A few days later, we went to a nice restaurant for dinner. Jane ordered a dish with the same mushrooms she had been disgusted by, but since this was an expensive restaurant, she wouldn't shut up about how incredible the food was, how the mushrooms were so much better than anything you could get in the States, and how she couldn't wait to go to the market to buy some. So I told her she wouldn't have needed to buy any if she had participated more in the mushrooming, since they were the same, but we got ours for free. When I said that, she completely stopped eating her meal and refused to interact with me for the rest of the trip. There was a huge rift in the family, because she left the day before the wedding and spent the rest of her time in Paris. My aunt was furious that I had publicly insulted Jane and was very cold to me for the rest of their time here. Recently we've been wanting to plan a family reunion for when things are safe, but my aunt is saying she and Jane wouldn't come after how I treated her. For my comment? My aunt was furious that I had publicly insulted Jane and was very cold to me for the rest of their time here. Gee, I wonder where Jane learned her disrespectful, shitty, nasty way of treating other people. NTA. Jane embarrassed herself long before you embarrassed her. You should probably count yourself lucky that she didn't attend your wedding. You may have avoided additional jealousy-inspired scenes. NTA. And what kind of spoiled idiot doesn't know where mushrooms come from? And I love mushrooms, especially in savory dishes, and I would have loved learning how to forage for them. Host the family reunion in France and breathe easier that Jane and the aunt won't attend. Right, that's such a cool family outing. I wish I had a French cousin to go shrooming with lol. Recently we've been wanting to plan a family reunion for when things are safe, but my aunt is saying she and Jane wouldn't come after how I treated her. Don't threaten me with a good time. NTA. NTA. How did you insult her? That doesn't even make sense. You told her a fact. Facts aren't insulting. They are just facts. Now if you said, listen you dumbass, you realize you're eating the same mushrooms you just shit all over the other day, right? Which is still the truth but a little less kind. Lol. Your cousin is a brat. Good riddance. I wouldn't want cousin or aunt at my family reunion if they can't even act like adults.